Well, that's because, like you were saying earlier, Jerry, it's easy. I just pushed the go live button, so we'll be live in a second. All right. Um, it's easy to just coast on something that somebody else has put out there. And quotes, I mean, it's always been cool, even before the internet. It was always cool to put quotes out. When I was writing my email newsletter for my academy, which we were doing 3 times a week, that the format of it started out with quotes, right? And yeah, because I had a huge collection of quotes, and when I started, the quotes didn't necessarily have anything to do with the subject of the news, right? But they were just cool quotes until I started then to try to put them together, right? Anyhow, so welcome everyone to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast, issue number, where are we? Number 277. So we're at number 300 minus 23. And this is the one about expanding your Jeet Kune library, essential reads. And I got to tell you, I'm exhausted from going through my own library to come up with stuff for today. For today. All right. No, I doubt that. All right. So that voice that you're hearing but not seeing is I almost don't know what name to call you by. But then it's Jerry Winterfeld.
Hey, everybody.
Right. And he's the only person who paid attention to what I said last week.
Yeah, I took notes.
Right. Last week was all about the best books on Jeet Kune Do. Mm-hmm. And I invited people to do their own homework and come up with their own best list. And Jerry was the only person who took me up on it. So that's where we're gonna go. Now, the categories of books that I had mentioned last week were: 1, biographies; 2, what I call philosophical treatises; 3, technical instruction; and then if you considered that there were combinations of any of those 3, right? So since Jerry is my welcome guest today, we're gonna go into his selection. So take it away, my friend.
Okay. I think a lot of my PFS peers would be kind of disappointed if I didn't mention that this was probably my first one. Right. I don't know what it was, but it's so down to earth. Mm-hmm. And it just boils everything down, and it kind of gets you in the same. It kind of gives you the mindset that Sifu Vunak is into, yes. And I think that really made it super clear to me back then when I was trying to figure out what this whole thing was, okay. Of what the essence of JKD is, and it's I know it could be considered very light, but I can't help it. It's one of my favorites.
Would you put that into the category of technical instruction then?
I would say yes, kind of, because there are these things into it, right? So it kind of falls into that, but I think it's more like, if I didn't want to go into the whole philosophical Bruce Lee superstar, all that, and I just wanted to give someone an idea of what JKD was, I would probably start this one. It's a light read, it's a guilty pleasure, and I don't know, I really like it.
Yeah, I dig it. All right. Okay, moving along. What's your next one?
All right, the next one would be, this is definitely a must, but this one is, I think everyone needs to start with this one first. Right? The glare is kind of this one, Bruce Lee's fighting method. I think that's a must. And and I know back then when I started in 2000, there was I think that was right around when internet starting over here in Denmark, and there was not a lot of information around. So this Bruce Lee's fighting method books really helped me a lot in kind of figuring out how to stand. All the technical questions there is, I think everyone needs that.
But okay, but was that around the same time that you had the Vunak book?
No. I started with Bruce Lee's fighting method. How you could go first, and then that gave me a headache, and then I never picked it up again. And then when I started, right before I started training, then I picked this one up.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right. Okay, so I hope everybody realized what you just said about the Bible of Jeet Kune gave you a headache.
Oh, it does. I mean, I'm not too proud to admit that I think there's a lot of it that goes way past my head. But I
Okay.
really tried to read it the first time, and I just got a migraine. And
Yeah.
then, a few years later, I was teaching. I mean, I started teaching, and then I was like, let me give it one more try. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah,
wait.
well, that's interesting because the key elements that I talked about last week were one of them was clarity and organization,
Mhm.
right? And also another one was engaging and accessible writing style. So I think
That's why this one appeals so much to me. 'Cause
right,
it's like a lighter version of that one.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. But see, I think that greatly underscores then, Jerry, that the realization that the Tao of Jeet Kune Do wasn't something that Bruce Lee meant for publication,
No,
so
it
to
was
speak.
notes for
You know what I
himself.
mean? Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your next one?
Okay, this next one, these are two books, and I feel that if you're really looking into like intercepting, like the stop kick, the BUG or the eye jab, all that stuff,
Mhm.
I hunted these books down. Books by Chris Kent, JKD from
Yeah.
A to Z. These are absolute my favorite books on intercepting. I have not
Yeah.
found any other book that goes into the whole intercepting aspect in such depth. This is
Okay.
this one was super hard to find. I could find this one everywhere, but this one was super hard to find.
Well, I think afterwards they were combined into one edition and renamed the Encyclopedia of Jeet Kune Do, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're totally right. But
Okay.
look at
Yeah.
this. Look at this. Look how cool this is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No. I got him right there.
yeah. But
Well, I mean, so you saw Chris on last week's dialogue, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Again, I think he's one of the best JKD writers out there, for sure.
oh yeah, definitely.
Without a doubt. There's actually just some of the stuff that he says in those two A to Z books. Just the wording is incredible. It's really, really incredible. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And your last one, because you picked 4, correct?
Oh well, this was 3 and 4.
That was 3 and 4.
Okay, but if I think the Art and Philosophy by the Jeet Kune Do, the Art and Philosophy of Bruce Lee is definitely my favorite. I don't. I felt that was like a history book compared to all the other ones. It kind of gives you a brief overview of what actually happened. I never knew how much I actually enjoyed it, but I think it's just because of the history and everything that kind of came before all these other books that I picked up. Because I picked up the Jeet Kune Do textbook and the kickboxing book back then, and those were technical books. But Guru Anasanto's JKD book was kind of like this, like if you had to start somewhere and you had time, you should definitely start there.
Well, I think that that one, right, which I tend to always have next to me, I think that one falls into the category somewhat of combination of philosophy and technicality and biography of Bruce Lee, right? Because there's the page where he literally says, right when all the photographs about techniques start, he literally says, this book was not intended to be a book on techniques. Right when this happens, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a book that lives up to its title, The Art and Philosophy. It definitely does go into to both of them, right? Okay. So, all right, you ready for my list?
Yeah, sure. Hit me.
Okay.
Hit
All
me,
right.
baby.
So I started with the biographies, and to me, one of the best is Bruce Lee: A Life, the Matthew Polly book.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a Bruce Lee descendant, I am automatically wary of anything written about him that's not written by a JKD martial artist, right?
Yeah.
So Paulie is a martial artist. You know, he's studied the Shaolin Temple or what have you. But
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. Now I don't get into the accuracy and credibility and what have you, because if you read some of the reviews online, there are people who accuse him of telling lies throughout the book, right? So that's not what I'm necessarily interested in. But I like the writing style, and I like, even if they're not true, right? And I have no
Yeah.
reason to believe that they're not true. He tells a story in there about Bruce Lee not wanting to continue filming The Big Boss, I think it is, until the screenplay was finished. And so in the interim,
Mhm.
he actually went to Japan to try to talk one of his Japanese martial art movie heroes, a guy named Shintaro Katsu. He
Yeah.
tried to talk Katsu into appearing in Fist of Fury,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And apparently Katsu declined the invitation, but turned him on to two other people. So I don't think I have their names, but if you think about the fight scene in the garden in Fist of Fury, before
Mhm.
he fights,
The Russian?
no, before he fights the head guy, what's his name?
Yeah,
Yam,
I can't remember.
I can't remember. Right, but there's a bodyguard, right, that he drops down and punches the guy in the groin, right?
Yeah.
That guy and whoever the head honcho, the head Japanese honcho is, those guys are two actual Japanese that were passed on to Bruce Lee by Shintaro Katsu, right? So I thought, so you know, when one of the key elements being um, unique perspective or unique contribution, like that's why I give Bruce Lee a life high marks,
Okay.
right?
It's funny because I have it. I just haven't gotten around to reading it. I also read somewhere
Oh,
that
okay.
this is probably like one of the better ones from all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
biographies.
Another one that I don't actually own, but I happen to have read a preview of it, is this one, The Tao of Bruce Lee, by a guy
Yeah.
named Davis Miller, right? And this, just based on writing style, I think I would enjoy, but I haven't read it, so it gets honorable mention,
So many books.
right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see. The other one that I think is unique in being a biography, even though it may not have intended to be a biography, is this Letters of the Dragon,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
I read
You
those.
know, because if you think about it, right? If what better way to learn about someone, right, and someone's history than to have a literal view into their private correspondence.
Yeah. That
You know what I mean?
that was part of the Bruce Lee library, right?
Yeah,
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 right? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and it's by John Little, so hello,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
right?
is
You know,
which is
if
funny
it's
because I actually like the Jeet Kune one. I felt I like that one more than the Tao Jeet Kune Do. I don't know why. I think it's just the way it was
oh,
composed or compiled. I think it was just made way more sense to read that one.
it's that's possible because, well, one, let's see. So comment. I think you're talking about Commentaries on the Martial Way. If that came out in 90 something, right? It's 20 years after the publication of the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. So we've
Yeah.
had 20 years to improve on
Yeah, of course.
compiling, right? On compiling and editing. And also, my understanding is that John Little had access to
To the
more materials than Gilbert Johnson had access to.
Yeah,
You
that's
see,
true.
so I think that could probably be
Yeah,
one of
I
the.
just remember when I read that one, that was I felt more happy reading that
Uh-huh.
one than the Tao Jeet Kune one. It didn't never gave me a headache.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So now my top for philosophical treatise is The Warrior Within.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally, right. The subtitle: The Philosophies of Bruce Lee to Better Understand the World Around You and Achieve a Reward in Life. So when it comes to Bruce Lee's philosophies in action, I think The Warrior Within is something that everybody should definitely give a look into. And because of some of the references that I didn't pull that one out, but because of some of the references that they make in The Warrior Within, the Tao of Kung Fu is
Yeah.
something that people should, I think they should definitely take a look at that as well. All right. For now, technical instruction.
Yeah.
Now, this is the one. This is the toughest one,
Okay.
right? Because so you see, so you showed that thin Paul Vunat book. There's a bunch of those. You know, Ron Balicki has his. Jerry Poteet has two. The late great Dave Carnell had two also.
I have him as well. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So there's a plethora that we can choose from, whether we want to go simple and thin, or if we want to go complicated, like the Fight and Method book, or what have you. Right. But for me, the top choice for technical instruction is this.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so weird. I have that. I have not even
yeah.
opened that one yet.
Oh my God. I love it.
But that's again, a technical book, right?
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Joaquin Marcelo's book. But again, we've had years upon which to improve. So in the old days, if you asked me about technical, then I would definitely have gone with, I hope I don't make a mess here and throw stuff down, right? I definitely would have gone with something like this.
Yeah.
Right? Or for sure, something like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially this one, because, you know, the Jeet Kune kickboxing, like the name implies, that was just the kicking and punching aspect, somewhat of Jeet Kune. And as Tim Tackett said on the dialogues, that one was written to complement Larry Hartzell's Enter into Trap into Grappling book.
Yeah.
Then people would have, you know, a compilation of Jeet Kune empty-handed training methods, right? So, but as the years have gone by, right, we're able to improve on stuff. And so the way of simplicity is definitely up there, near the top, at the top of my list. Now,
but, you
when
know,
it comes, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, there's also another category that's out there that's kind of not really being talked about, are training manuals or curriculum manuals or books. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like I know Rick Fay has like his MKG manuals where it's kind of like an A to Z progression of how you train different things. And I've seen other people start doing the same thing. It could be for their school or their organization,
Right.
But that's also another trend that's popping up.
Yeah, and you know what? As soon as you do that, because I'll probably do it as well.
Yeah,
but as soon as you do that, right?
Yeah.
One of the first things you have to mention to people is that by the time they read it, it's probably different.
Yeah, but that's also one of the allures of JKD, right? Because you can make your little addition to it, but then you're supposed to always keep it updated and growing or changing, right?
That's why one of the hardest things to do is come up with a non-changing Jeet Kune Do curriculum.
Well, that's why I feel that, I feel everyone has to start here, because
Yeah.
that's
Well,
like the
that's
basic one.
that's fundamentals.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing about it. That's fundamentals, right? Now, before we finish up on technicals,
Yeah.
this is brilliant. I love this one, right?
Yeah.
And
I have
and
that one.
again, it's writing style,
Mm.
of what, because when it comes, excuse me, when it comes to what is shown in terms of techniques and what have you, it's obvious that David Chang is influenced by Chris Kent. There's
Oh
no two
yeah,
ways
yeah, yeah.
about it.
You can see
It's
it on his
obvious.
stance right there.
But the way he writes, right? How he expresses himself in this book, that's why it makes my list, right? Okay, and
All right,
the other one,
let me ask you this.
uh-huh.
Uh, in Jeet Kune, there's always this talk, or there's this thing where the highest level that you should achieve in combat is the intercepting, right? I have
Yeah.
not. I don't think I've seen any other author write about that aspect besides Chris Kent. There's lots to do the basic stuff, the kickboxing, the structure, but I've never seen anyone really dive into it in the same way.
Do you have Tackett and Bremer's Chinatown Jeet Kune Do?
No, not yet. Is that also
Okay.
those also
Yeah.
recommended?
Take a look. Take a look at those for
All right,
sure. Right.
that's definitely my
Um,
to buy list.
yeah. And then in technical
Oh
instruction,
yeah, right, that one. Yeah, I
right?
have that one too.
I
That's
I I think it's fascinating. It's marvelous that you can write a whole book on
yeah,
a particular item like this. And what I think this shows and gives credit to is the Ted Wong premise of aiming to perfect
mm,
a
yeah,
few efficient things,
yes,
So I think that that this book and its companion, the Arsenal of Jeet Kune Do, I think that this is a very, very good example of that intense approach
yeah. I
to
definitely agree with you on that one.
perfecting something,
Definitely agree with you with that one.
right? So I think that's it. Um, when it comes to combinations, like we talked about the art and philosophy, I think the Tao also is a combination of
What,
technical and
headaches?
philosophy and what have you, right? It might not be, like the key elements that we talked about, clarity and organization. It
No,
might not
not for
be
me.
the best, right? And then in light of the fact that we've discovered that it's just notes, and it's notes that were, maybe this wasn't supposed to go with this and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it has to be on your shelf. There's no two ways about it. It
Oh
has to
yeah,
be on your shelf,
most definitely.
right? And I think an honorable mention for that one is, and I can't find my copy of it. It's Bruce Lee, Artists of Life, and then also Tommy Gong's Evolution. I thought there it is. Right? Do you have this one?
Yeah, I have that one.
Okay, yeah,
That's on my
right.
on to read list.
Okay, yeah, for sure. That's another one that I think would fall into the
Oh,
category of
I just thought about, there's also another
combination.
book. Is oh, what's the name of the guy? The name escapes me. The one who did the 1 Inch Punch book. Sorry, what was his
Oh, James
James
DeMille.
DeMille. James DeMille's book on Chisao is also a
Uh-huh.
fascinating read,
Hmm.
because I've heard, and there's different ways JKD
Yeah,
people do Chisao,
yeah.
and that was an amazing read just on the whole different way of how to do Chisao.
Hmm. Yeah, that's way old school, my friend.
Yeah.
Way old school.
No,
Yeah.
it's because I was thinking about, because the way I was taught Chisao is very different compared to, let's say, the mainstream way of how I've seen different Wing Chun schools train Chisao. I could be totally wrong, but and I've never seen anyone else train that method. So I was just wondering, does this have any basis in anything related to Bruce Lee or something? And then when I finally bought that book, I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of the ways that I was taught that's kind of represented in that book as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, as a Bruce Lee student and being introduced to Chisao by Bruce Lee, right? The mile would have gotten that. That's where his foundation in Chisao would have come from, right? But from the stuff that you read about in Absorb What Is Useful, some of the changes that Bruce Lee made to Chisao, right? Like the fight in position and the switching of leads and all that type of
Yeah, yeah.
stuff, right? You know, some would say that it ended up not looking at all like the Wing Chun Chisao.
Yeah, but then
Right.
again, you can debate that because if you
Oh, for sure.
because it's like, yeah, that's true. You can do that, but if you really want to understand it, you would still need to go back down to the
Hmm.
basics, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
It's it's the same thing. Like you don't need to go and grapple the way Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people would do it, but if you would want to understand how the ground works, you would still have to learn
Yeah.
those fundamental elements before you can
Yeah.
start changing stuff.
I remember when I did push and pull Chisao with
You with me, Dwight, or did you lose me? All right, I'm gonna try and get back.
All right. Are we back? Are we live? Like I said, we've got huge thunderstorms here, and that's what happens to us. So many thanks to my good friend Jerry Winterfeld for spending some time here with me. Um, I'm sure we talked about a lot of things that you guys will have a lot of comments. So put them in the. There he is. Okay, let me get him back.
I'm still awake, Dwight.
Yeah, that
I
was
ate a
it.
lot
That
of
was.
candy. I'm still awake.
Yeah, no. So yeah, the internet is going to be spotty for the rest of until these thunderstorms move out. So I just want to say thank you for actually listening last week and
I heard you. I heard you.
and showing up. One of these days I'll do a test, right? I'll say, okay, so everybody email me if you want to do an open panel where we dish the dirt on our biggest Jeet Kune enemies, and then we'll see how many people sign up for
Oh shit! Where do I sign up?
Right, but
that will totally it'll
yeah,
never
yeah,
stop. It'll
yeah,
just be
yeah.
forever. Yeah.
No. Right. Okay. Well, but anyhow, but thanks very much for hanging out with me, man. I really appreciate it. And,
No problem, Dwight. Thanks, too.
appreciate
Pleasure was mine.
your contributions. Right. All right. So okay, go get some sleep, man. You're up too late.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right, man.
No problem, Dwight. Thanks.
Okay.
See you
All
around,
right.
man.
All okay. Right. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So that was I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 277. Let me know what you guys think. That's all in the comments below. That's all I got to say about this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. At paypal.me/unifiedma. That's where you can get the Jeet Kune Journey Volume 1, paypal.me/unifiedma Miami. You can also support me and our sister channel, the Jeet Kune Dialogues, on the YouTube. Just click on the join link for the Jeet Kune Dialogues channel, and that's where you can see the different levels of membership. Another way to support me and the show is to go to jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The Jeet Kune Notables coffee mug, also available in garment form. Coming up on Friday in at 6 p.m. Yeah, we're not on the same time zone, but 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be talking with Michael Van Beek, who is the author of The War Room, which is, this is actually a category of Jeet Kune book that we could talk about where Jeet Kune might not be specifically mentioned, but it's actually something that grew out of Jeet Kune. So I'll see if Mike agrees with that, right? So that's 6 p.m. Jeet Kune Dialogues episode with Michael Van Beek, right? And that's it. Okay, so today is a red day. There you go, right? And so I'll see some of you on Friday with Mike. If not, see you next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. If you're here in Miami, stay out of the rain, all right? But be safe. Talk soon. Take care.